But it's still a man versus a woman.
Well, this happens. So this is commonplace in women's boxing because there's not enough women fighters generally, much less one to spar with her of her high caliber. So a lot of times you gotta, women fighters, what you do is you find a male fighter who knows how to work, and, they're getting into work. The idea is to have a live body in front of them and, they're getting in their work,
Okay, so obviously Arthur knew how to work. He is lighter. He's 140, I believe, 140, 147, right on there?
135.
135. Okay, now, for context, Claressa is about 165, correct?
That's her fight weight. Just like Arthur's fight weight. Arthur was probably like 140-something at the time. She was closer probably to 180, at the time, which is normal. That's not abnormal. It's not abnormal for either one of the either fighters.
Okay, before I go further, I want to educate you guys on what this is. Shout out to the Zapata Brand Podcast, and they have a special guest, Derik Santos. Derik Santos was the trainer of Arthur, right? And Arthur is the guy that dropped Claressa Shields. Now, for legal reasons, because you're going to hear that throughout this particular interview, and we're going to go through it to see exactly what happened from Derik Santos's perspective and his point of view. So this is his side, and basically what we've heard so far is that Arthur is 135. Claressa was probably, she fights at 165, but she, like he said, she was probably close to 180. So, she's a lot bigger than him. So, but that's normal because a lot of times, a lot of women boxers, they don't have a lot of good sparring. So they do use males. But I think on a handicap, and we will see more into this particular video, so I'm just really breaking it down for you guys before I begin to continue, and letting you guys know this is Derik Santos, the guy that's in a legal battle with Claressa Shields over this particular video and what happened after she was dropped in this particular video, because a lot of things transpired after the fact. So let's continue.
But still, Archer is not going to go full bore blasting live rounds with him.
No, absolutely not.
That's not going to happen. Okay. So now, obviously, they spar on Monday. It was a Monday that this had happened. It was a Thursday that happened, but Monday you guys spar. Well, I'm taking you back to that day, that week. The Monday you spar went well. Nothing out of the ordinary.
It went well. She claims that she beat him up, which is not true.
Okay, so now there's our first. He claims that it was one-sided and she basically beat the brakes off of him. That did not happen. That is your stance on that? That did not happen?
That did not happen. I am in possession of one round of that because that's all that was sent to me. But you can clearly see in that, that they're working. It was good work. They were just working. But you could see the relaxed nature that Arthur had in the work.
Okay, and I did see a few of Arthur's amateur fights in the Nationals or the World Championships. He could punch, so if he really wanted the battle, and that was in the amateurs. That was in the amateur.
Punch. He could punch. He was a strong, for a little guy, he was a strong punch. He had snap, what we call snapping.
Right. So that takes us to Thursday. Now, here's where it gets a little fuzzy. Her claim was, and this was her words, that she got the best of Archer on Monday. You called them to come back and spar Thursday.
So I'll stop you right there. That right there is one of her many lies.
Okay, so that's
her team for us to come back on Thursday.
Okay, so her team asked you to come back Thursday. Now, you and John David Jackson are still relatively close friends?
Well, I mean, he was my mentor. Life. You know how life is, man. Life goes, and people. We're busy all the time. We're working. We're boxing trainers. It's not like he lives far from me. We don't get together like that. I don't have anything against John David Jackson. I worked for him as his assistant faithfully. I always give him his credit. We have many great moments in the years that I worked with him, due to the fact that I worked with him, obviously. Okay. And he's one of my mentors. So there's,
well, if you wanted to, you could call up John and say, John, what's going on? I got this fighter here. So that's kind of that kind of relationship.
Yeah, but that's not what happened here either. Boxing executive by the name of Elvis Crespo just called to see if we had somebody because they were looking for a fight. That's not what happened.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to see how close you and John were. Obviously, you two were close. You calling him your mentor. You guys are close. So the bad blood, there was no bad blood there between you and John. Okay. So now that we're clearing this up a little bit here now, so now Thursday comes, according to you, that Elvis Crespo called, said you come down to spar. You come down to spar. According to Claressa, it was 4-4, two different guys. Is that correct?
That's not what happened. So again, this is what I'm telling you, that even those timelines don't make sense. Arthur sparred Harold first.
Okay.
And then sparred her.
Okay. All right. So she gets dropped round 3, according to her. Is that?
Probably round 3, yeah, somewhere right around there. I know that I can't attest to what the exact round it was, but they were probably maybe 3 rounds into it. Yeah.
Okay. So now here we are, round 4. They finished. She did finish the 4th, or did you guys stop?
No. So she did finish. And like I said, for legal reasons, I'm not going to release. I had that whole round because it was sent to me by the young man. I actually asked the young man to send me the whole thing because I don't have any of the tape. I didn't have any of the video. I was not the person who posted or released that, right? Okay. So I asked him, and his response to me was, this is all that was in my iCloud, and he sent me the whole round. And that round, when that happened, and you could hear in my voice and everything as they're just working, and I'm like, there's a point where, he's working her into the corner, and I'm like, hey, just, throw the body, not the head, throw the body. And then he backs up off her. She's known to talk at times during sparring, and she's like, oh, is that all you got? You hear some people laughing.
I did hear that. Yep, I heard that.
They get into it. They start throwing more spiritually. At some point, there's a scuffle. You can halfway see it in the video where, not what you guys saw, but they're coming sort of toward my corner. Looks like she's kind of got him in a headlock, but I'm not. I yelled out, don't hold her head down, but then I guess they turn, and it looks like she's holding him down, and they come toward the rope. You can't see that clearly. Anyways, at that point, the video was black because his equipment fell off, and I started to fix it. And you can hear it, though, because the audio's still there. And he's like, man, Coach, what's going on here? Whatever. And I'm like, it's all right, just work, whatever. I guess he's complaining about the roughhousing, right? And you could hear me clearly say, just work, man, just work. And then they go out there, and, unfortunately, what happens, she throws the cross, he throws the hook, it hits her right on the chin. She goes down. You could hear, I'm the voice that goes, oh, no.
Yep.
And you can see there's plenty of witnesses there. So back to your point, too, remember what rounds we're in, right? So somebody punching you with gloves with no padding in it. Do you go that many rounds without saying something?
No.
Just think about it, right? Not. So that's a point that it's not even been brought up. Even I didn't bring that up myself. But that's just common sense, right?
But not only that, she'd already sparred 4 with Harold. She already got 4. Harold, I'm sorry. Harold was already sparring with Arthur. So he would have said, hey, that feels a little different.
Right.
Correct?
Which, later he said he said something like that after she was complaining on the
Correct.
outside. In any case, during that, he didn't say nothing. In any case, she goes down. She goes. See the video. I didn't post that video, but the video is edited the way, you know. I guess the kid felt some kind of way about her talking, and he decides to post it. And he starts to walk away from. I tell him to go help her, you know, like be a gentleman, you know, help her out. She turns around. He's not being in any way like acting goofy, like, ooh, he knocked her down or whatever. Goes to help her. She kind of pushes him away. And I remember she's like, get the F away from me or whatever, you know. But she gets up. And you hear everybody, John, me, everybody, hey, just walk it off. They just walk for a little bit. I don't know the exact elapsed time. And then they start to spar. Then they touch gloves and start to spar again. Which, again, this being such a long time ago, I didn't even remember that until I just saw this, you know. And they start to touch gloves. They touch gloves. They start to spar again. It's not much longer. It's maybe 15, 20 seconds. The bell rings. They once again touch gloves, like good work. Right. I don't recall exactly how many rounds they continued. I do remember they continued. I don't remember how many rounds
she claims one more. And then when it was over,
maybe one more, maybe been two, who knows, you know, at that point.
Now, here's a couple points of people who hadn't seen the video. I can tell you this. She missed the right hand. She was looking this way. As she turned this way and Arturo was throwing that left, she didn't see that.
No.
And I don't care who you are. I've been hit by, you know, Sophia. I was hit by her and didn't see it. And I got like, wow, you can get buzzed. Now, getting hit by a man in a room is a different story, but you can get buzzed if you don't see it. That's just, I think, what happened there.
Yeah, and see, the one thing is, she keeps saying, "Oh, this is weak that that he posted this 5 years after and whatnot," and he has whatever his reasons were. Now, I'm here not because of that, because fighters get knocked down. They had bad sparrings all the time. Different things happen. And all my social media up and down, you'll never see any of that posted, right?
Nope.
And now she decided to send a message on Instagram to me saying that she was going to get me fired from boxing. You know, and the thread that we're going back and forth, which I was very respectful to her. But I am also going to stand up against lies, right?
Right.
And then next thing I know, she's giving interviews everywhere. It's getting picked up in the media cycles all over, from Russia, you know, Germany, Ireland, England. People are saying, oh, you know, what's going on? Is this true? Did he do this? Etc. Right?
Right.
My phones are blowing up and I'm going to myself, are you kidding me? And then later she's like, oh, you know, I'm not mad because I got dropped. You know, she said something to the effect of, I'm not embarrassed because that happens. So then, first of all, why nobody other than her talked about that?
Right.
Think about it, 5 years. That video was buried. Nobody talked about it. Nobody ever thought anything else about it. I don't have any relationship with her or against her. I've never even seen a full Claressa Shields fight. I've seen rounds and highlights, you know? And again, not discrediting her for being a champion, right? But I'm also going to stand up for it's reckless, it's malicious intent to defame my name and my career. And then I'm going to stand up for the young man, because even though he doesn't even box anymore and lives in Europe, and to my knowledge, he doesn't box anymore, you know, that's not something that should be put on him either, right?
Correct.
And so, which one is it? You're throwing a flame. You're trying to throw a flame. Put a flamethrower to my career, because what? Because you're claiming one thing, you said a completely bogus story about that you grabbed his hand and you walked him over to John and that you saw the gloves were fake. That the video there didn't even make sense because she says he sparred Harold after, which if I caught a fighter cheating like that or anything like that, they wouldn't let them fight. I wouldn't let them spar somebody else, right? That would be the end of that right there. So that didn't even make any sense. She had a story about that. I said the gloves were gifted by Roberto Duran. I've never met Roberto Duran in my life.
Okay.
You know, so it's like all that was nonsense, you know, and again, I sat back and when I finally saw that video of her talking, I was like, what in the world is this woman talking about?
Okay. What we've heard from Derik Santos, we've heard enough from what she said versus what he is responding. And now looking at the total video, or it's really not the total, because you have actually, this is a 48-minute video. We're not doing it that long. Actually, this video is kind of lengthy. However, you know, I did want to see Derik Santos and how he responds to Claressa Shields' comments. You know, and what I don't understand is what is the relevance of the video now, or her talking about his career or anything about him. See, this video was buried, and you know that's why, you know, the cloud, you know, like something from 5 years ago, better yet 6 or 7 years ago. For me, if I look in my cloud, a lot of that stuff's not going to be there because of space. Your phone only holds, your cloud only holds so much space for material. And Claressa, you know, we heard her in the video. Yeah, she was talking shit before she even got dropped. But I mean, that's Claressa though, you know, it's the, you know, the bravado, you know, and it's the ego and stuff like that. And the issue is she's claiming that this man had a fighter that was cheating. And she claims that she caught him cheating because the gloves didn't have any padding in them. But then according to Derik Santos, that same fighter with the cheating gloves fought someone else. And on top of that, I don't know if she allegedly grabbed his hand after that round or after the round after that, because they sparred another round after that. So one thing's apparent, she did not get knocked out. She got dropped, you know. But then again, you know, this is sparring. So if she did get dropped, there's no referee to count the shit. So she probably did get knocked out officially, but there's no official fight. So there you go. She just took her time, got up, because you can tell in the video you didn't see her get up from that video. So she took her time getting up, which rightfully so. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, especially when you get dropped like that. She didn't see that shot, and he claims that he told the guy, hey, don't hit her in the body, don't hit her upstairs. Obviously, though, Claressa Shields was talking shit, and she made that man mad. Okay, she pissed that guy off because she was doing roughhouse tactics. She was a much bigger girl than him. When you have situations like that in someone, it doesn't matter who you are. If a girl went up fucking with you, even I'm 6'2". Let's say a girl like a volleyball player or a basketball player, and they're 6'4", 6'5", and they come fucking with me. You know, first of all, one thing that I hate, I despise, are bullies. Bullies are genderless. Okay? And if someone came messing with me, pushing me around and trying, I'm going to show her. I'm going to show them. Okay? What's up? I'm not going to allow that to happen. And that's not that's not very masculine, but it's not respectful. You have to respect yourself, because one thing you don't want is to, because a lot of kids these days are getting bullied by people where it's like, hey, that's not cool. And then, they self-inflict pain upon themselves because they're being bullied. No, that shit ain't going to fly over here. So if someone did try that with me, if I'm putting myself in his situation, that's what I'm doing. You got a bigger girl. She's a heavier girl. She wants sparring, but she's taking advantage of sparring because she probably knows that this fighter is being handicapped not to go all the way, not to hit the gas, hit the gas to the pedal all the way down to the floor. And then she's talking shit. But a lot of women do that anyway. Like, what you gonna do? Huh? You gonna hit me? Huh? That type of stuff. And he was like, okay, well, what's going on with this? And I do think he lost his cool. I think he did. I don't think anything was wrong with those gloves. I think that was made up because the way he hit Claressa, I don't think Claressa ever went down like that. She claimed she did just to justify the fact of her going down before, or not, or silencing that particular, or not amplifying that how it was. But really what that was, I think that knockdown, I think that affected her because she remembered that shit. She remembered that left that man gave her, and it bothers her. And I think it bothered her. It bothered her ego. It doesn't matter how long ago. You know what I mean? She probably considered making up some shit. Who knows? But at the end of the day, though, her saying, hey, this guy had padding, and then her going to get a knife and all that Flint, Michigan bullshit. Let me tell you something. First of all, if that she thought was a solution to her problem, how was she going to resolve? Let's say the man did have jacked up gloves. Let's say his gloves weren't regulation. Let's say he did tamper with those gloves. Okay, if he tampered with those gloves and you go get you a knife outside, now you're bringing a whole nother issue inside this issue. So now that issue won't ever really be resolved based on the way you decided to respond and to handle it. So there will be some court cases about this unless it decides to get scrapped. But I think Derik Santos is not going for it because she tried to ruin this man's career, claiming that it was a fighter under his jurisdiction, or supervision rather, had tampered gloves. And that's the reason why she went down. Understand, this dude's at 135. I think that alone made her look bad simply because he was a lot smaller than her, dropping her. I think that hurted her. I think that affected her ego quite much. And I think that's really what this all is all about. That other shit, I'm going to go get a knife and do that. And now I don't know how true that really is. But if she's saying if she went to get a knife and this, that, and the other, that's not going to make anything better. Shout out to Jay. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of this breakdown from Derik Santos, okay? The trainer of the man that dropped Claressa Shields. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.